Okay, hello Libra. This is your tarot reading for July 2017, focusing on love and relationships. All right, so let's see what we have. The first card is a 9 of Wands. I have a 5 of Cups. And then I have the Emperor. Page of Wands. 10 of Swords. 3 of Swords. I have a 7 of Wands. The Empress. And then a Knight of Pentacles. Very interesting. And I noticed that, well, you have your swords, and let me just say, seeing that swords represent your element, which is air, it's never ever nice to see that 10 of Swords next to the 3 of Swords, because of course the 10 of Swords is that betrayal, being stabbed in the back, going through a lot of emotional pain. And then the 3 of Swords, it's the heartbreak card, and that is about healing though. Okay. And the nice thing about these two cards is that the 10 of Swords is usually going through the very worst and then picking yourself up and eventually starting over. You go to the Ace of Swords. So the number 10 here is always a good thing, even though it's a 10 of Swords, because it's about things are as bad as they could have gotten, and things can only go up from here. So yes, I also get a sense that some of you Libras have gone through a very difficult time in relationships emotionally, and so when this 3 of Swords comes along, yeah, we're talking about healing your broken heart, healing from your wounds, so to speak, just going through the grieving process. Now, it's also interesting that here you have these wands, one right after the other in this column. So the wands are very important here because now sensing that some of you have gone through a lot of sadness, regret. This Emperor is the symbol of some authority figure, a big obstacle that you've had to deal with, something that's gotten in your way, restrictions, limitations. So we go from this 9 of Wands, which is about learning from lessons past to prepare for the future. We have a Page of Wands, which is hope, enthusiasm, starting a new path, not being afraid of starting a new path or a new adventure. And then those wands, unlike the 9 of Wands, those wands come from behind and now you're facing them. And so the tarot seems to be telling an interesting story for you Libras, that there are issues in the relationship where maybe with this Emperor there's been some very challenging issues in the relationship, maybe even a lot of passive aggressiveness, someone using their authority over you, someone trying to overpower you in the relationship to limit you. And it's about getting out from over. And I also feel like this 5 of Cups has a lot to do with some emotional regrets, and could be some breaking up, could be some a loss of a relationship, things that have gone wrong, a big argument for some of you. And so when we get to this Page of Wands here, it's interesting how each one of these wands sets up what follows, that this Nine of Wands is about being prepared to confront an obstacle, being aware. And then we have those emotional regrets. We're trying to protect ourselves from feeling too sorry for ourselves or getting over our losses. We're confronting. It's interesting how it's possible that this Nine of Wands is confronting the Emperor, someone who is trying to limit you in a relationship, someone who is trying to call the shots. So when we come here in this next row, a Page of Wands where we want to, our desire for the relationship or our desire for this person is still there, but there's still wounds, there's still issues that are still going to cause a little bit of turbulence here. So this Ten of Swords and Three of Swords, you might actually get hurt. You might actually, someone might not, how can I say this? It's not that someone intends to hurt you, but it feels like with this Five of Cups here in the recent past that some of you have put your feelings out there. And because your feelings have gotten squashed by the Emperor, that's a big letdown. It's a big letdown when you have that energy of the Page of Wands and you want to make the relationship work. The fact that the swords follow the page is showing joy and enthusiasm, opening his heart like a child, but then in response, you might get a little bit of rejection. Someone is giving you the cold shoulder, or this has happened and you're trying to build trust. You're trying to face, you're trying to get yourself together so that you can move on. So as we head into the future, what's very important here is, like I said, the wands are behind her, but she's using the lessons from the past to prepare and be on guard for what's coming ahead. And I think that's some of you Libras, especially if you're air signs, we can be very, very cautious. We can be, like, I might get hurt again. I'm going to just sort of make sure I've got my little fortress, my mental fortress surrounding me. Someone might let you down a little bit. So now the wands have come to the front here with the Seven of Wands. Now we're now facing the obstacles. We're facing the challenges of this relationship or someone who is hurting us. So here's what's happening now. We had the Emperor, who is the ruler of the material world. Now we have the Empress, who's also the goddess of the material world, and everything that's associated with fertility and sexuality and seduction. And I think that this Empress is sort of following the lead of the Emperor. There's an obstacle here with someone. Sometimes I see a third party with the Empress, a relationship block. But the Empress is a very feminine energy. She's a woman who's adored. She's a woman who's who's attracting a mate. She's pulling someone in. She's seductive. And she could also be a mother figure as well. And so the Seven of Wands seems to be on guard with the Empress, this seduction. And then it's followed by this Knight of Pentacles, where Pentacles are part of the physical material world. And then also the Knight of Pentacles is a very slow energy. And it's interesting that this Knight of Pentacles is going away from the Empress. He's sort of like turning away. And so what I'm interpreting here for your future is to be sort of on guard for an upcoming obstacle in this relationship, to where the Empress is the energy of the Empress, the motivations of someone in particular who might be interfering. It could very well be the energies of your partner or someone you're dating who is imposing restrictions, who's not only just being manipulative, but this seduction, this sexuality that might suck you in a little bit. And then we have this Knight of Pentacles, the very slow energy. Knights take their time. Knights go into action, but a pentacle, it's a very slow energy. And it's also very physical. And the biggest impression I'm getting from these three cards together is don't be taken advantage of physically or sexually. There could be a lot of superficial things going on in these relationships where you want the real deal. You want an emotional commitment. But then it seems like some of you might be attached to people who are like hit it and quit it, or they're ready to go after a few days or a couple weeks. So you're preparing yourself. You might need to be a little bit on guard from lessons of the past, especially if what the story these two cards are telling here, right? Being on guard, learning from the past and preparing for the future, especially if it seems like this person has hurt you before. Okay? That's the biggest message I'm getting from that Knight of Wands, that there are things that have happened in the past with a certain relationship where you did feel hurt and betrayed, and it's quite possible here in this row it could happen again. And then we bring in all of this attraction and physical, sexual energy here that you might get caught up in. You know, and then there's some people who just want a sexual relationship, but they don't make the emotional commitment. I think you just need to be prepared for that. You need to see where this person really is and if they're really going to stick around, especially for those of you who are dating, but also for those of you who've been in long-term relationships where your partner has shown patterns of running away from commitment or just sticking around for the physical, sexual, that type of thing, because I'm getting a sense of being hurt before and dealing with a lot of having to just pick yourself up and heal over and over again. So let me see if I can pull the outcome card here. And get a clear sense of where all of this might be heading. What is this Knight of Pentacles heading into? Okay, I have a Queen of Wands. This Queen of Wands is someone who is very charismatic, fiery, of course, and she's very extroverted. She's also a person who takes control. She just goes right in there and she gets what she wants, and that's always a good thing. But also, Libra, this could be an issue following the storyline of these wands. This Queen of Wands could be what some of you might be a little anxious about, especially with the swords. This Queen of Wands, this Knight of Pentacles heading toward the Queen of Wands, if some of you are attached to someone who's a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, or some aspect of an earth sign, this Queen of Wands is sort of shaking things up. And it could very well be part of your energy, because fire is nurtured by air. You need air. Fire needs air in order to exist. And so I think that the interesting part of this story is that the tarot is saying mentally and psychologically you've been going through the ringer. But the energy of these wands and tackling your obstacles and fears head on and not letting someone hurt you, I think this Queen of Wands in the outcome is actually saying that you might be getting it together, and really this story of not letting your feelings get trampled on again. I think that this Queen of Wands is actually a good signal for you, that you get some of that fire, you ignite, you use some of your air energy to ignite determination and will to get out from under some of the things that are going on in this relationship that are holding you down. And I think that's a good thing. I think you need to set boundaries with a particular person for those of you who are in long-term relationships, but also for some of you who are dating and trying to figure someone out. I think that try not to be a little less naive and just sort of hold your own here. Okay? The Page of Wands pages are very young. They're a little bit of a beginner, and they believe the best in every situation, whether it's a Page of Wands, Page of Swords, or Cups, or Pentacles. But when you're a queen, you kind of internally pull it together, and you've figured everything out, and you look out for yourself first. Okay? So that is a very important message that I think the tarot is trying to get across to you. So that was your reading. And just a heads up, I will have to limit my availability for readings. It's been a really busy summer for me so far. And unfortunately, I will not be able to do as many readings or even be available in the morning as much as I used to, which I regret very much. But I probably will be available Fridays and Saturdays over the weekend in afternoons and evenings. And for my regular customers, I will continue to look out for you if you do need to make special arrangements. But as we head into the fall, I'm just letting you know I've got full-time work obligations as a teacher, and I will definitely not be available as much as I used to. So I do apologize for that. But taking that into consideration, I will try to accommodate everybody as much as I can. So thank you very much. And I hope you're having a wonderful summer. I will see you on YouTube, and I wish you love and light.